Shalom, family trendsetter. I'm at work, so you might hear some noise in the background, as well as I do have a tendency to struggle for words when I speak because of my West Indian dialect. Now, this is part 4 of an edition that I'm trying to do for the week, where I'm going to be going into this Helio-Biblos Sun book, we refer to as the Bible, breaking down certain things, just pretty much provoking you to open up your mind to certain possibilities. Now, for the record, I am not anti-Bible. I do subscribe to the Bible. I do read the Bible. As a matter of fact, I believe a lot of the stuff that's in the Bible, not everything, but a lot of the stuff. For example, the law, statutes, and commandments and the dietary law, 110% I do subscribe to it because it just makes sense to me. If I was a God, quote unquote God, and I give you the law, statutes, and commandments and the dietary law, and if we can effectively, complete or subscribe or do everything that is given to us in the 10 commandments, as well as the dietary law, how to follow it, and I'm a God and you do that, I'm going to be pleased with you. There's nothing else you would have to do. I know they say 613 laws that we have to subscribe to, but I don't believe all 613 has to do with us, because you have the Leviticus priests that have to subscribe to some of the laws. You have the women that have to subscribe to the laws. You have the law of sacrifice, burnt offerings, and all this different kind of, laws that you have to follow. We don't have to follow that. Because I would say not some, but none of us are actually Leviticus priests last time I checked. You know what I'm saying? And one of the things you have to understand, this whole sacrifice thing that we believe we have to do because Leviticus tell us we have to do it, right? The Bible tell us we have to do it. Now you have to ask yourself this question: who actually wrote the Bible? Did God himself come down? And I'm using those words very loosely, God and Lord, because I do not subscribe to those words, but I'm just making it simple so you can understand what I'm talking about. Did God ever tell you personally that you have to do any sacrifice? Or is it written in a book? And the question I have is this: why do we have to read a book or listen to a pastor or an elder or whoever the fuck in order to get the message from God? Why can't God himself tell us to do these things? If we're supposed to do blood sacrifice, right? Passover and all these different sacrifices. When you read in Hosea 3, I think it is, verse 4, if I'm not mistaken, it tells you it's going to be without a king, a prince, or whatever, paraphrasing, a turf. We wasn't going to be doing any kind of sacrifice because we are in the land of our enemy. We're not back in our land where we used to practice these things according to the Bible, right? So, again, how do we know we are supposed to be doing these things? What? Because it's written in a book that man published, that the same people that was murdering us, burning us, doing all these different things to us, have literally gave us this book, and then have the nerve to say, well, it's King James Version. This is his version of the so-called Bible. Now, our original records, right, that I believe our ancestors that document certain, way of life, certain practices, I believe these devils have hidden it from us. They might have taken bits and pieces, some of it might have gotten out, because the Most High is going to make sure that he give us, what we need to do indirectly. Like I was giving you the analogy of the key. If you're a captor and you actually capture somebody, lock him in a cage, and you decide, I'm going to leave the key on the table and walk away from it because you don't want to take the key with you because you're afraid of losing the key, and you leave it on the table, but it's in the same room as the captures. If the Most High decide for you to go free, first of all, he allowed that individual with that mindset to leave the key, to give you an opportunity to reach the key to get out. It's up to you now to figure out a way, because the key is present, is in your grasp. You just have to figure out a way now how to get the key. So it's the same thing with knowledge. It's the same thing with the truth. You have to figure out a way how to gain truth. You have to study yourself to be approved. You cannot just go with what the pastor tell you in the Christian church. These pastors have been lying to y'all for centuries because they are on the 501c3. They're tax exempt. They're making free money off of y'all without have to pay tax on this. So of course, they're going to push this agenda because they are being guided by the devil, which is the so-called goddamn white man of Roman Catholic Church, giving y'all doctrines of men in order to keep y'all away from y'all God. You know what I'm saying? Telling y'all to eat of a man's body and drinking of a man's blood. Are you serious? So you have to understand that not everything in the Bible is from the Most High. If you have a one-on-one relationship, first of all, if you start to practice the law, statutes, and commandments, right, the dietary law, the Most High will look at that and say, you know what, now it's time for me to have a one-on-one relationship with you, because now you have cleansed yourself of all this fucking impurity that you've been eating. That's a dietary law. Following that, it helps you, clean yourself out spiritually too. And then if you follow the law, statutes, and commandment, then now you have literally opened up, for the Most High now to come to you directly instead of going through some pastor and whatever. You know what I'm saying? And then now you start to have a one-on-one intercession. And that's what's been happening with me and many others like me. To the point now I can discern on this Helio-Biblos book, realizing it's all bullshit. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't even say, I'll take that back. But most of it is all bullshit. The New Testament is garbage. All these prophecies and all this stuff is information they have probably gathered from our records that the Most High probably told certain scribes and whatever to write it down because this is going to happen. And that's why they're able now to put this shit in the New Testament. Because if you look at the New Testament, if you really and truly read the New Testament, a lot of the shit that's in the New Testament has to do with the Old Testament. Out of Egypt, I've called my son. And they said it's Jesus Christ. When you know damn well that was talking about the Hebrew Israelite in the Old Testament. When the Most High told Moses, to tell Pharaoh to let his people go. You know what I'm saying? So we could do our so-called sacrifices. We're in the land of captivity. We're not doing any sacrifices now. And I know they say Jesus Christ is the ultimate sacrifice. Were you there when they was nailing or hanging Jesus Christ on the cross? According to Acts 5:30, he was hung on a tree. But, they say he was hung on a cross. Okay, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Were you there? Were we there for any of these accounts in the Bible? Period. No, we weren't. It's only by faith we are actually accepting this doctrine, if you will. You know what I'm saying? Now, as far as the Old Testament goes, I do subscribe to the Old Testament. I like the Tanakh. I love the Torah. You know what I'm saying? But as far as these sacrifices that they said we had to do, nah, I don't believe it. I don't believe it because I know this entity that the heathen worship, they are bloodthirsty. I say they, it could be more than one. You know what I'm saying? They are bloodthirsty. A lot of people refer to them as aliens, the tall whites, they call them, right? Which is really demons, fallen angels. Okay? You got to understand something, family, that these heathen read from the same exact book that we read from. Then we go to Matthew 16:25. For whosoever will save his life shall lose it, and whosoever will lose his life for my sake shall find it. So in other words, this slave doctrine, right? Matthew 16 is telling the slaves, don't worry about the master killing you. You know what I'm saying? Because if you lose your life here in this time frame, you will gain it back in the next in paradise, in the next life. Why would the Most High create mankind? First, he created Adam, right? Adam was supposed to live forever. Then he took a rib, according to the story, and he created Eve. And they were supposed to guard and tilt the garden. So they were somewhat like a God, small gods, right? Because they purpose was not to amalgamate. The first creation was told to go and be fruitful and multiply. The second creation, it was not instructed to do so. But yet still, the first creation, that entity, that serpent that's referred to in Genesis, somehow came into the garden and deceived Eve into having sex. And then she went and did what the first creation was instructed to do, not the second creation, because the first creation was created by other gods. Let us create man. Remember, that's other gods. It doesn't mean it was the Most High. The Most High creation was Adam. From the ground, blew the breath of life, man became a living soul. Remember? So this is why now our lifespan has been shortened. But initially we were supposed to live forever. But now you have Jesus Christ telling you, if you follow him, right? Pick up your cross and follow him, you will have eternal life. So in other words, you will lose your life in this, as in whatever, this lifetime, but then you'll gain it in paradise, in some other whatever. So let me ask you this question, right? Would you pick up your cross and follow Jesus Christ knowing you're going to die by following this entity? Notice all of his apostles died. John the Baptist got his head beheaded. I think it was Peter that was hung upside down. You know what I'm saying? He didn't want to be hung on a cross according to Christianity, like how Jesus was hung. So he was hung upside down. All of the apostles met their death. Would you follow an entity that tells you you're going to die? Or if you follow me, you're going to end up dead? Are you that stupid? Not me. I want to live. I want to live. I want to enjoy this hell on earth until the Most High come for me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not following no entity that I know ultimately I'm going to die. It doesn't make sense. Then this entity is telling you to eat of his body and drink of his blood. Cannibalism. Our Creator, the Most High Power, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, told us not to eat blood because life is in the blood. So much so, when Cain slew Abel, Abel's blood cried out, which means the life is in the blood. This is why these fuckers like blood sacrifice so much, because when you do sacrifice, they drink your blood because life is in the blood. These Illuminati demonoids, that's what they're doing to prolong their life. The Rockefellers and all these other devils. Why you think they always depict in Hollywood movie always spilling blood? Because they want you to get accustomed to spilling blood. Even these video games that these kids now are playing, these shoot 'em up games, right? They always killing something because they want you to get accustomed to killing. So now if you get accustomed to shooting up shit on the video games, killing people, Avatar, whatever, then in real life, when it's time for you to shoot up a school, why you think a lot of these mass shooters are white people? Because they fucking bloodthirsty entities. You know what I'm saying? So it's nothing for them now to start killing real people. It's the same way with this God of the Old Testament and the New Testament that required animal sacrifice. Y'all think it was only animal sacrifice they was doing in the old? No, they were doing human sacrifices too. This is why the Most High said obedience is better than sacrifice. In other words, he's telling you don't do no damn sacrifice. You only sacrifice when you fucking up. You know what I'm saying? If you're doing everything you're supposed to do to please the Most High, why would you need to sacrifice anything or anybody? You know what I'm saying? Obedience. I don't want my wife going on cheating on me and then coming and telling me she's sorry and shit. Well, my sacrifice is that I'm telling you I'm sorry. No, don't go out there and cheat on me because I'm going to leave your ass. Put you away. Find me a Hebrew woman, not a Jezebel. You feel me? So I don't understand. Why do we believe in Matthew 16:25? And then you have a lot of these dumbass Christians say, oh, I'm willing to die. I ain't dying for nobody. You know what I'm saying? I've never met this character called Jesus Christ, Yahweh Shai Yahushua. Never met him. Heard about him, never met him. If anything, I'm willing to die for the Most High. And guess what? The only way me I die for the Most High, unless the Most High himself present himself to me. Not through no man, not through no pastor, bishop, or elder. He have to present himself to me and say, listen, trendsetter, I want you to give up your life for me. And I would have to make sure you're going to have to show me some receipt that you are my creator. You're going to have to show me that you are in fact my God, because I'm not dying for no motherfucker. Not dying for Moshe, not dying for David, not dying for none of them. The only way I would die if I could see my creator come to me, not through a man, and show me with receipt that he's my creator. And he said, okay, this is who you're going to serve. You could eat of his body and drink of his blood because I am telling you, I'm your creator. Here's my receipt to show you that I created you and you can go ahead and do it. And even then, I'm not doing that shit because that shit is nasty. I ain't drinking nobody's blood and eating nobody's body. You kidding me? I don't even like to eat half-cooked meat. So good luck with that shit. I guess I will be going to that hell that they talk about in the Christianity and shit. And you know, Dante Inferno, the play that they talk about hell, and they try to say that shit is real, but it's really was some Romans with a play called Dante Inferno and talk about hell and the depiction of how hell is, which is a play. But yet still, that's what hell is about. Yeah, right. Good luck on that too. So family, I'm just saying that, listen, every time we pick up our cross and follow Jesus Christ, we get enslaved, right? We get murdered because the white man do not like the black man, straight up. They're a different entity. Their objective is to destroy the creation of another creator. See, they're jealous because the creator, even the gods that they follow, the Most High is ultimately overseeing these gods. He can destroy these gods, and they're upset because the supreme God, which is the Most High power, right, created us and pretty much gave us a covenant, and they're jealous behind that because their God is some lesser God. Their God is bullshit. Their God can die. Our power cannot die. So this is why they want to destroy us as a revenge, to say, well, you know what? He didn't, love us enough to accept us and choose us. He chose these ugly black niggers. You know what I'm saying? They call us monkeys. A lot of time they call us monkey, knowing damn well they're the monkeys, because they're the one that got the DNA, rhesus monkey DNA in their blood and shit. They the one that look like monkeys. Let them motherfuckers don't shave for like a month and see how much they look like apes and shit. The real apes. They try to call us apes. If you was to shave an orangutan, they look just like a white man. Don't let that black hair fool you. Monkeys actually look like white people. White people actually look like monkeys, I should say. But they like to deflect, call us monkey when they know they're the damn monkeys. But family, in closing, I want to just say this, right? We have to remember that they have hidden our records. A lot of what we read in the Bible doesn't have anything to do with us. All these stories are a combination of stories to fit everybody, because everybody can get something from the Bible. We, Hebrew Israelite, we get the law, statutes, and commandment, the dietary law from the Bible. The Gentile heathen nation, they get communion, blood sacrifice, eating of man's body, drinking of man's blood. You have so, as a matter of fact, I had this girl that I used to be with back in the 80s. She used to use the Bible, the Psalms, and do witchcraft. I think I made a video about that. She literally used to use the Psalms and actually do voodoo. I used to say to her, why are you using the Bible? And I didn't know if she was actually using the Bible to do it. I thought it was just for show, like she showed that she's not into, divination, witchcraft. But she used to actually read Psalms from the Bible and then do what she did. You know what I'm saying? So this is why I tell you, man, we have to be very, very careful. But family, stay tuned for part 5. I think I'm going to wrap it up in part 5 to go more in depth. You know what I'm saying? Do not follow Jesus Christ. You're going to be enslaved and you're going to die. That's why I tell you to turn the other cheek. Do good to those who hate you. Love your enemy. I'm not loving my enemy. As a matter of fact, I'll probably kill my enemy. Fuck that. Straight up.